let's get into it. The first guy we got here is the big name, Mr. Caleb Williams. Oh, yes. Caleb Williams, 22 years old, hails from Washington, D.C. 6'1", 215 pounds. In high school, he went to Gonzaga College High School and found success there pretty early on, being named the DC Gatorade Football Player of the Year in 2018 as a sophomore. That's impressive. A sophomore.
Yes.
This is Washington, D.C. we're talking about. It's not like he was in like East Bumblefuck, Alabama. Like, this is like a huge area. It's one of the biggest cities in the entire country. His team also won the WCAC championship as the best team in D.C. that year. His junior year wasn't quite as amazing, but he still was named the Washington Post All-Metropolitan First Team for the second consecutive year. His senior year was then canceled because of COVID. We had that fun time. So obviously goes off to Oklahoma, where he started his college career. And Williams committed to Oklahoma and started as a backup to Spencer Rattler, another guy we might talk about eventually during our draft days here, because he's another guy coming out of this draft, probably the seventh best quarterback in this draft. Rattler was benched in the fourth game of the year, though, and Williams was then the starter for the rest of the season. Ended up 11 games, a 64.5% completion percentage, 1,912 yards, 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 79 rushes, 442 yards. It's a 5.6 yard per carry average there, 6 touchdowns, second team all Big 12. Not a bad first year. You know, you can't expect a freshman to go in and just become the best quarterback in all of college football right off the bat. That doesn't happen. You know, unless you're Johnny Manziel. And considering what happened to him, I think we're okay with not having that career trajectory for most people here. So 22 though, the following season, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma for USC to become a Trojan. So Caleb Williams followed him there and had his best season that second year. 14 games, 66.6 completion percentage, 4,537 yards, 42 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 113 rushes for 382 yards, 3.4 yards per carry average, 10 touchdowns. He even punted the ball twice, which that was interesting. So two punts for 84 yards. Obviously doesn't take a genius to figure the math there at 42 yards per punt average. AP College Football Player of the Year, Heisman Trophy winner, Maxwell Award, Walter Camp Award, Sporting News College Football Player of the Year, unanimous All-American, Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year, and first team All Pac-12. So, yeah, pretty much won every single award known to man that you can win as a college player. So he comes in this year with tons of hype, tons of expectations, because look what he did his sophomore year. His junior year must be better, right? Nope. So USC went just 8-5 this year, guys. That's not good. 12 games, 68.6 completion percentage, 3,633 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. So not bad numbers, but not as good as the one before. His rushing totals, that's what really was like, whoa. 97 rushes for 142 yards. That's a 1.5 yard per carry average, guys. 11 touchdowns. So we did do good in touchdown part at least. So the big question is, what happened in 2023? Was he missing having the elite receiver he had in 22? Because keep in mind, Jordan Addison, who was the Blindekoff winner, is the best wide receiver before he got there the year before when he was still in Pitt, but still like a top flight receiver for him when USC. Now he's a Viking last year. He didn't have a top receiver, but he still had his second and third best receiver from the previous year, and that's Taj Washington and Brendan Rice. So Washington is a very small slot receiver, projected to be a day 3 pick. So he's still an NFL caliber player, so not a scrub. Brendan Rice, you may have heard of his father, Jerry. Yes, that Jerry Rice. He's projected to be a day 2 pick as well, who's probably going to be like a second receiver for an NFL team. So Yeah, not scrubs around him, but didn't have that elite receiver, and it wasn't the same thing there.
Yeah, so he didn't have that super Megatron, if you will.
Yeah. Now, what's interesting is 21 of his 30 touchdowns were through the first 5 weeks of the season. So, yeah, that's a pretty crazy compacting in the beginning there. Now he had 5 more in weeks 9 and 10. So in 7 games, he had 26 of his 30 touchdowns. Just 4 touchdowns the other 5.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's not good, guys. So my question, and I'd love to find the answer on this, is was there perhaps an injury we were unaware of that slowed him down? Because that's definitely possible. Same as the NFL and college football, they don't always announce injuries. Why would I give you a target? But the other thing is, if you look at the games he was playing there, some of those games where he didn't have touchdowns were against the better defenses he faced. Keep in mind the Pac-12, which we have 3 out of the 6 top QBs are coming out of this Pac-12. So it's going to be a theme here to hear quite often. They're weak defenses. These aren't defenses. This is in the SEC. These are guys that are known for high-flying offensive attacks. That's what the Pac-12 is. It's not the place you go typically if you want to be the top edge group in the draft, or if you want to be a nose tackle, or if you want to be a receiver, a quarterback, a running back. Pac-12. That's where you look. So he also had this season 4 games with negative rushing yards, anywhere between 7 and 13 attempts in each of those games as well. So it's just there's a few things just off this year about him. Really was. Now, one thing I like to look at whenever I'm doing an analysis on a prospect of any kind is I want to see what they did against the better defenses they faced. Because let's be very frank here. The quarterbacks in college aren't facing the same quality of defenses they will face in the NFL.
Not in the least.
But if I can look at how they did against the better defenses, that gives you a telltale sign, so to speak. Was there a huge drop-off? How did they do against these guys? And, yeah, this wasn't good, guys. I've talked about Caleb Williams in the show before, and I said I don't want the Giants to get him. I could not be more positive on that after doing a deep dive in this guy. So, 2023, the best defenses in the Pac-12 that he faced were UCLA and Oregon. Against UCLA, he was 31 of 42. So that's a 73.8 completion percentage, 384 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 7 rushes for negative 20 yards. Wouldn't call it a good day.
No.
Good completion percentage.
Which is nice, but when you're talking about 384 yards and
1 touchdown.
With 1 touchdown, it's
it's
playing from behind ball.
Against Oregon, where they have their trail and their dysentery. 19 of 34, 55.9 completion percentage, 291 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 8 rushes, negative 11 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown.
Sounds like he got ducked.
Not a good day. Now, I also looked at the top 25 defenses. He's only faced 2 top 25 defenses at his time in UCLA, 1 this year, 1 last year. So last year, this is his best year, keep in mind. This is his Heisman year. This is his I'm the best quarterback, I'm the best player in all of college football year. Against Notre Dame, 23 of 47. It's a 62.2 completion percentage. 199 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 13 rushes, negative 2 yards. Yeah, not good, guys. His best defense he faced. Actually, I'm sorry, that was this year.
I was about to say.
Yeah, that was this year. The best defense he faced last year in his top form there was Oregon State. The Beavers. It was 16 of 36. It's a 44.4 completion percentage, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 rushes for 27 yards. These aren't stellar numbers, guys. These aren't.
No, I'm joking around saying he got beefed, he got ducked, but like you said, majority of these teams, if they were going to play an NFL team, would not look as good as a defense as they do in college. Like, let's just say
No.
what it is, because one, NFL is the next level.
Yeah, and you also
Two,
gotta continue the fact that the supporting cast around you is better in the NFL than it is in college as well. So
yeah, 100%. So to have this player that you really want you to be the piece that's going to move you forward, not being able to handle good defenses. It's not like we're going to go play Carolina every game. It's not like we're going to go play,
yep.
insert terrible defense.
Giants went.
So, yeah, Giants. Yeah, well, definitely rough there.
All right. Let's get into some of the pros and cons because, guys, there's definitely pros. I'm not saying that he's not a good player. I'm saying I don't think he's this generational talent people think he is.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of talent in this guy. It's just
he's not Andrew
Was
Luck.
he overhyped?
Hugely.
Hmm.
Hugely. Here's the pros. Great arm. Uses mobility to extend the plays, not to run. We talked about that. We talked about it months ago. It's one of the nice things he does is he doesn't look to run the ball. He's more like Patrick Mahomes in the fact that he moves around to extend the play so a receiver can get open. That's not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, though, because I've heard that analogy a lot with him. We'll get into that more later.
You've seen him like run out of the pocket and then run back to the pocket to extend the play, which is pretty like a lot of guys don't have that football IQ to use the defenders again.
Oh yeah.
They just run out to get away from the defense and then either run the ball or throw the ball, but to circle back around to extend the play, that's something else.
Oh yeah. See, makes highlight reel plays. That's always fun. Listen, if you're a marketing team, you're gonna love having this guy.
Oh yeah.
Seriously. It's like when OBJ was on there, people just showing the shirts of him with the one hands and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get with this guy. He goes through his reads very well as well. So he will literally look down the field and go boop, 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 boop. Like he can do that processing real quick. That's one of the things we talked about with Daniel Jones. You can't teach that. You either can or can't do that. You either have the mental capabilities to do that or you don't. Flat out. So on to the cons. Keeps the ball too long, which leads to sacks and fumbles. He had 16 fumbles this past season, guys. 16 fumbles. Again, he played 12 games. That's like Daniel Jones' numbers there when he was having his fumble issues. And Tiki Barber thrown together. That's it's really bad. We talked about it before. Didn't play against good defenses often and failed when he did. He's got to go in that con section. Slightly underweight. So again, we said he is 6'1", 215 pounds. I'd like to see another 10 pounds added to him. It's not to say
that's what I say. It's that to me. It's a con right now, but it's something that's not going to worry. He's going to go meet with athletic coaches. He's going to meet with the strength and condition coaches.
Oh yeah,
and he'll put that way on for the season.
USC didn't have any of those.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, there's different workouts, different diets.
I love when people say that. Oh, he can gain the weight in the NFL. Like what? College wouldn't allow him to? Or was he starving on his $2 million he made in NIL deals? Like seriously?
I mean, he's also younger.
I hear you. I'm just saying.
You have more time. And then your early to later 20s is when it's easier to put on actual muscle mass compared to like.
Wait to get your 40s. It's really easy to put on weight then.
Oh, mass. That's a little different than muscle mass.
Let's talk about the personality issues. And I say that in kind of quotation marks here too as well, because I think a lot of the hate on him, honestly, is unfair. I have issues with him as a player. I don't have all the issues on him necessarily as a person. So everyone mentions his nail polish and the fact that he wore some kind of like skirt outfit or whatever at a photo shoot. I couldn't care less. Why do I care? I'm paying you to throw a goddamn football and lead a team. That does not prevent you from doing that.
No. But I think you might have more mobility in the dress.
The airflow is better when you play the Florida games.
Yeah. The cooling system.
The one thing I will say I am concerned with, we've talked about it before on the show, is we had in the video here when we started talking about him, is like crying in his mommy's lap after a game. Like you're supposed to be a leader of men. You can't do that. I'm
No.
sorry, you can't. Like I feel like the chauvinist old guy when I say that, but
Sonny,
men
back in my
can't
day,
cry.
you just went home, you drank bourbon, and you swallowed your feelings down. You
Yeah,
never
like
showed them.
you can't go sobbing into your mom's lap. I'm sorry. That's too much. That's taking it too far. You can cry. You can show emotion. You can do that with your team. You can't go jump into the stands and cry in your mom's lap. It's not
Yeah,
allowed.
no.
You're not 5 years old, guys.
Yeah.
That's
Well, like we said before, you're allowed to cry, but like the fact you're jumping in your mom's lap, that's not what a leader does. The leader's
no.
not jumping in anyone else's lap. They're the ones that should be holding the other players while they cry.
Uh,
So it's like,
or crying together.
yeah,
Like he purposely went away from his team to do that. Like
yeah.
that to me is not a leader skill. That's not.
No, no.
Um, I also have concerns with his father. So his father is in charge of his team, so to speak, as opposed to having a legit person with knowledge of the NFL. He doesn't have an actual NFL agent and all that kind of stuff set up. You need
Yeah, it'll
this.
change.
You need that. I know your dad's probably helped you out when you were in high school and college. You're in a different world now. And every time I see that kind of stuff happen, it seems like, for the most part, unless you get like a lawyer involved that understands the complexities of the language of the deals, it just slows it down. It makes it more of a hassle for everybody. So,
That and players get screwed because they trusted someone that doesn't have the knowledge of
oh yeah,
what to
oh
actually
yeah.
do. Yeah.
Now we got to talk about the combine and him too. There's a lot of issues with him and the combine people had for
Yeah.
some reason. I don't know why. I could not care. This goes in the I could not care less policy here. So you didn't throw at the combine. Who cares? I got 3 years of tape to watch. The underwear Olympics does not affect me. I'm sorry, but it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, the combine can solidify what you already thought. It should never change your opinion.
We some guys that blow out at the combine and go up in the draft because of it.
Yes.
So I wouldn't necessarily say it shouldn't change, but it should showcase what you got and also your health.
Oh yeah. So we also had, of course, the issue of he didn't want to give up his medical. So I don't think people are aware on how the medical stuff goes when you're in the combine. You basically go into a room with 32 doctors. They all are asking you questions like a press conference, giving all your medical information to these guys. This guy's going to be the number one overall pick, guys. Right or wrong, and I personally I think it's wrong. He's going to be the number one overall pick. So why would he give that information and deal with that kind of stuff with 32 teams when, as of right now, only a handful of teams will have a shot at him?
I believe he said he's met with 3 teams because he responded. It's like met
Yeah.
with like 3 teams. They know his medical. No one else
Giants
needs to
were
know
one,
it.
by the way. Giants were one.
Yeah. He goes, I disclosed the medical to the teams I think I'm going to. No one else
Yep.
needs to know. Because at the end
Exactly.
of the day, too, it's kind of reason why this thing called HIPAA laws went into place. Like you don't have
Yep.
to disclose all your medical details.
But it's like I said, a lot of it to me is also, again, it's the experience. Why would I want to sit there with 32 doctors asking me questions when, you know, 28 of these doctors have their teams have no shot of getting me? Why am I putting
Yeah.
up with that? Why am I dealing with that bullshit?
Yeah.
There's no
Listen,
point.
like you said, he's the number 1 overall. The people that need to know his medical, they know it already.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly.
probably more of like a personal, like, hey, let's sit down, let's go over this, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, to me, the whole thing is just a little crazy here. Um, let's get into. We're gonna give our final verdict when we think of him. Do me a favor, guys. Go in the comments section. Pop what you think. Want to hear what you guys think as well. I know Mark's already in there with his thoughts. Um, final verdict that I'm giving here, and Rob, you can agree, disagree. Let's see where you're at with them. I think he's more Kyler Murray than he is Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be a star of this league, and he'll flash brilliance at times. But overall will not be elite. His highest ceiling still he's the highest ceiling still in this draft. Definitely 100%. But the floor should not be ignored because we're seeing the issues when he goes against good defenses. And I can't ignore that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong what you're saying. And actually, I was a little bit more harsher because I think his ceiling's, I mean, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be something that people talk for the next half century of how great football that he puts out, as long as he stays healthy and has a long career.
Mm-hmm.
So to compare him to Patrick Mahomes before he even makes it into the NFL, I think it's a little absurd. I think his ceiling's more, and it's also fair, but I think it's more like Josh Allen. Josh Allen knows how to extend plays. He's got a good arm strength. He can run around, extend the arms as well. He's not quite Patrick Mahomes, but can Cleve win you a ring? Probably not. I also think his floor is more like a Justin Fields compared to a Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray at least.
Well, no, I'm not saying Kyler Murray's his floor. I think that's the comparison of what he's going to have. What I'm just saying is I think people look at this guy like a short fire thing, like he's going to be a definite star, definite, people are already saying if he goes to Chicago, he'll be the Michael Jordan of the Bears. Like, no. First off, Walter Payton is the Michael Jordan of the Bears. Shut your mouth.
And never listen to Bear fans, because every year they draft someone and they say it's the next coming of whoever.
Oh, yeah. Mitch Trubisky. They're still hoping.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see here. Mark says, Caleb is not going to make it in New York. I hope the Giants are not on the clock with him as an option and make the mistake of taking him. I don't think they will. I don't think they'll pay for what it takes to get him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Deb says, big no to Caleb for Giants. Mark says 100% spot on. So, all right. So it seems like they're on the same page with us here.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.